Welcome in, everyone. Today, we're jumping straight into a fascinating explainer tracking the incredible 150-year evolution of the football kit. We're looking at a journey that traces how what players wear on the pitch has transformed from everyday workwear all the way to highly engineered data-tracking armor and exactly where it's heading next. Now, to get us started, I really want you to think about this. What could steel toe boots, hacked-up cricket pads, and modern microchips possibly have to do with the beautiful game of football? It sounds like a totally random assortment of items, right? But as we'll see, each of these has actually played a pivotal role in shaping how athletes perform on the global stage. To figure that out, we have a brilliant journey mapped out today across 5 specific eras: the heavy Victorian uniform, the evolution of rules and tech, the replica kit revolution, 2026 high-tech performance apparel, and finally, the push for sustainability. So let's move right in and see how this story begins. Section 1. The heavy Victorian uniform. Sweating it out in the 1800s. So when organized football was first getting its start, players didn't exactly have specialized gear. They just played in whatever they had available. Back in the 1800s, that meant heavy cotton shirts and these really thick, long knickerbockers. And their footwear? Literally just everyday work boots. These leather boots weighed half a kilogram dry and a staggering full kilogram when they were soaked with English rain and mud. Honestly, add in the steel toe caps and projecting nails they used for grip, and you had a uniform that was just as dangerous to the opponent as it was exhausting for the wearer. Contrast that with 2026. We're talking engineered microfiber, moisture-wicking fabrics, and feather-light laser-cut boots. It's night and day. As the legendary Juventus player Paolo Rossi famously noted, boots are the footballer's tools. Footwear is absolutely foundational to a player's ability to perform. In fact, those early steel-capped boots I just mentioned, they caused so many injuries that the Football Association actually had to step in and ban projecting nails and iron plates way back in 1863, which really sparked the first true evolution in kit design. Moving on to Section 2, Evolution of Rules and Tech, Adapting for the Pitch. As the game adapted, changing rules in early tech transformed the kit from a makeshift hazard into a highly specialized uniform. You can actually track how cultural trends heavily dictated pitch fashion. Look at 1904. That's when the FA finally lifted the rule stating knickerbockers had to cover the knees. Fast forward to the 1970s, and suddenly we see those famously short, tight-fitting cuts designed to show off athletic figures. By the 80s and 90s, the style swings completely the other way. Influenced by looser basketball styles and urban cargo cuts, we got those iconic, incredibly baggy shorts. And today, well, it's all about inclusive performance fits that perfectly balance both mobility and comfort. And speaking of early ingenuity, the modern shin guard actually has a brilliant, kind of hilarious origin story. In 1874, a Nottingham Forest player named Sam Weller Widdowson simply hacked apart a pair of cricket pads and strapped them right over his socks. At first, everyone laughed at him. But once players realized he was actually avoiding bruised shins, the invention caught on like wildfire. Meanwhile, goalkeepers were undergoing their own massive evolution. In the very early days, you literally couldn't even tell who the goalie was unless they were wearing a specific cap. To help out referees during crazy goalmouth scrambles, a 1909 rule required goalies to wear distinct colors, first scarlet and royal blue, and later green. But here's the crazy part. For decades, they were stuck wearing heavy wool polo neck sweaters. Sweating it out in heavy wool? It actually wasn't until the 1960s that they finally ditched the wool for lighter, brightly colored athletic cotton. Which brings us to Section 3, the replica kit revolution, the commercial boom. Building on those early designs, kits soon transformed from just mere equipment into a massive global commercial industry. This commercial explosion really kicked off in the 1970s. Up until then, football boots were almost exclusively black. But suddenly, brightly colored boots hit the pitch, and players started signing lucrative endorsements. In 1973, the German team Eintracht Braunschweig became the absolute first to display a sponsor's logo on their shirts, Jägermeister specifically. Just 2 years later, Leeds United took the brilliant step of designing shirts specifically to be sold to fans as replicas. This one move absolutely changed the financial landscape of the sport forever. But commercial designs sometimes severely clashed with performance. One of the most infamous examples is from 1996. Manchester United had introduced this new gray away kit designed specifically to look great with jeans, so fans would buy it. However, it was a disaster on the pitch. Sir Alex Ferguson famously forced his team to change out of the gray kits at halftime because the players literally could not spot each other against the backdrop of the crowd. Talk about a design fail. All right, Section 4, 2026, High-Tech Performance Apparel, the chemistry of comfort. So how exactly has modern engineering solved those historical performance problems? Well, today we rely on a very exact three-step scientific process of moisture-wicking technology. We've moved so far beyond heavy cotton that just traps your sweat. Today, synthetic fibers and engineered microfibers are designed to: Step 1, aggressively pull sweat away from the skin. Step 2, spread that moisture right across the outer surface of the garment. And Step 3, dramatically speed up evaporation through advanced airflow structures. It is exactly what keeps today's athletes completely dry and focused. And moving down to the footwear. Modern boots are basically computers at this point. Think back to those soaking wet 1 kilogram leather work boots we talked about earlier. No way. Today, we use incredibly lightweight materials that are literally laser customized to perfectly match a specific player's foot shape. They feature bladed studs for dynamic grip and amazingly microchips embedded right into the sole to track a player's every single movement and output that data directly to smart devices on the sidelines. It's science fiction stuff. So, the real crucial point here is that just being quick-dry is no longer enough. Modern fabric must flawlessly combine all of these specific elements: moisture management, breathability, lightweight stretch, and odor control, just to survive the intense demands of the 2026 pitch. It is an absolute marvel of textile engineering. And that leads us to our final chapter, Section 5, the push for sustainability, protecting the future of the game. Now, all of this incredible technological progress, it comes with a massive environmental cost. I really want you to focus on this number for a second. 5.5 kilograms. That is the alarming amount of CO2 released into our atmosphere to produce just one single polyester football shirt. Just one. When you multiply that by the millions of replica shirts sold globally every single year, the environmental footprint becomes absolutely staggering. Because of this, the fast fashion cycle of football has created a gigantic waste problem. According to UEFA, up to 60% of team kits are simply discarded annually. We are looking at an estimated 3 to 4 million items of perfectly good sports kit being systematically destroyed every single year. But there is a silver lining. Culture is shifting, and it's shifting fast. While 64% of fans over the age of 55 are generally indifferent to whether their club pursues sustainable practices, younger generations feel completely differently. Only 12% of Gen Z and 15% of millennials are indifferent. The vast majority of younger fans are actively demanding sustainable practices, and get this, they are more than willing to withhold their spending if clubs don't comply. So, to fix this mess, organizations are aggressively pushing the concept of reuse. In a circular economy, reuse simply means extending the life of these garments for their original purpose. It requires way less energy than recycling, it keeps materials in circulation, it avoids landfills, and it drastically cuts the overall carbon footprint of the sport. And the good news is, real solutions are already rolling out. Through tough new EU legislation banning the destruction of unsold apparel, the introduction of digital product passports so consumers can actually track the environmental impact, and some really innovative kit loan programs, the industry is finally being forced to act. They are aligning their passion for the game with the actual protection of our planet. I'll leave you with this final thought. As consumers, fans, and lovers of the beautiful game, how will your next purchase shape football's legacy? When you buy your next team jersey, are you just wearing its history? Are you actively protecting its future? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you next time.